Welcome back to my channel. My name's Camilla and I'm a future trainee solicitor at a top 55 UK law firm, and I'm also an LPC student studying part-time at ULaw. In today's video I wanted to cover 5 things that I wish I knew at the beginning of my LPC course when I started in September 2020. And the first thing that I wish I knew was that you don't need to remember anything from your LLB. Now this was a particular concern of mine because I graduated in 2012 and started the LPC in 2020, so that's like 8 years. I remember very little from the LLB, and that was something that I was a little bit concerned about. I thought, you know, am I going to be at a disadvantage because of that? But if you're in a similar position, I can assure you it's not going to be a problem. They teach you everything you need to know to pass the exams. There is a really good resource that I've seen. I haven't personally used it. On the ULaw website, you can actually go to like a refresher course, which is like an online course to give you some of the basics from the LLB, I expect. I personally might try the contract law one in the summer, just to give me a little bit of a brush up on that, because that's probably quite important. But yeah, other than that, you don't need to remember what you've learned on the LLB because it's such an academic course and the LPC is very practical. So like I said, they teach you everything you need to know. The second thing that I wish I knew is that you don't need to worry too much about the reading. I just wanted to show you a book that we had for business law and practice. It's a huge, well, it's quite a big book, and I don't know if you can see the highlighting, but I've read most of this book and I don't remember any of it really in detail. I only would remember the parts that we were examined on, and that's not everything, that's not the whole book. It just would be impossible for us to memorise all of this in the 16 weeks that we've had to do the course, and then like the 2 weeks revision that you get. Everything that you need to know is essentially in the preliminary tasks that we have to do as preparation for each workshop, the workshop tasks that we do in the workshops, and then sometimes the consolidation tasks. But essentially, as long as you can do the tasks and you understand what you're being asked to do, which the information does come from the textbook, you'll be fine. So focus on the parts of the textbook that relate directly to the learning outcome. I'll give you an example of the learning outcomes. I don't know if you can see this. There are 2 outcomes here for this class, but sometimes there can be up to like 5 outcomes. And in the workshop, we will do tasks that ensure that we can meet these outcomes. And so we're only really examined on the outcomes. So as long as you can do the tasks, you will be fine for the exams. My top tip for the reading is don't labour too much over every point. Get through the reading, do it, but maybe go quite fast through it. Don't think, oh, I didn't quite understand that point, let me go back to it. You only need to do that if it's something that relates directly to what you're doing in the workshop. But only a small part of the reading will actually be relevant. The majority of it will be kind of background understanding stuff, and that's just what you just don't need to know that for the exam anyway. So the third thing that I wish I knew before starting the course was that you don't need to make copious notes on the whole textbook. I kind of fell into the trap of making really detailed notes on things that just aren't going to be examined. So don't waste your time doing that. Make them based on the outcomes, and you won't go too far wrong. The fourth thing that I wish I knew before starting the LPC was how to revise, because like I said at the beginning of the video, I had come from LLB back in 2012, which has a huge focus on memorization, and now I'm here doing an open book exam. I don't know how to revise for this. So this is something that ULaw didn't really cover until sort of towards the end of the course. Although we did have a mock exam after the 4th week, which was really helpful, I still was a little bit unsure how we were actually supposed to revise the whole course. And the answer is, and this is something that came from the teachers, not from me, is go back through all of the workshops that you've done, make sure that you can answer the workshop questions, because the exam questions are very similar to the workshop questions in principle. So as long as you can answer those using your notes, then you'll be in a good position for the exam. So you don't need to memorize your notes, but you need to have a working understanding. And by working understanding, that means that you need to be able to answer questions using your notes. And the only way that you can know if you can do that is by going through each question and trying to answer it with your notes. And when I did that, I went through the course twice before my exams in the 2-week revision period. I went through the whole course again twice, answering the questions again, and I could really see what tasks I was flying through, and so I didn't need to really revise those, and which tasks took me the longest. And I knew it was going to be a time pressured exam, so I thought, right, I can't be spending, you know, X amount of time on this question. I need to be able to answer it quickly. So I kept answering these types of questions until I could answer them very fast. And so yeah, that was really how I revised, and I found that out towards the end of the course. But I wish I knew it at the beginning, so I would have known what was going to come next, rather than thinking, oh god, how am I going to revise for this exam? The fifth thing I wish I knew before starting the LPC was that you don't need to understand everything when you come out of the workshop, because there were times that I came out of workshops thinking, I just really don't understand what just happened, especially in the workshops which are kind of focused on like tax and inheritance tax and just things that were based on numbers. It kind of just went straight over my head, and I kind of was a little bit worried that I wasn't going to get it. But ULaw have put all of the workshop recordings on Elite, which is the kind of learning platform that they use. And what I would do is after the workshop, I would then watch the workshop online again afterwards, and make sure that I understood what was going on, make sure that my notes were all really well organised, because I don't know about you, but I really can't make notes in a live workshop because I'm too busy listening to what's going on. I can't like make notes and listen. I would then watch the workshop again, take thorough notes. I would then have a much better understanding of the topic, and I would then even watch the workshop a couple more times closer to the exam as revision. I found that really, really helpful. Yeah, those are the 5 things that I wish I knew at the beginning. I hope you found this video useful. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up, and also don't forget to subscribe for more legal careers related content. See you next time.